Good morning, all of you. So, today we will have a look at the fourth chapter of civics, the fourth for your course, Outcomes of Democracy, once again. Okay, now from class ninth for your civics, we started this tour of democracy and we studied about so many things in class 7th also, as well as in class 8th. You have studied about the power sharing, federalism, and in class ninth also you studied about the working of the different institutions, what democracy is all about. That is all that we have done till now. And so we have seen that it is the most preferred form of government. So now in this particular chapter, we will have a look that when people they favor democracy all over the world so much, so what outcomes can we expect of democracy, and we'll also see that whether democracy does fulfill those aspects or not, our expectations or not in reality. Now all that we'll see during the course of this chapter. Okay, so now the first thing is that how to assess democracy's outcomes, how to assess that what outcomes we can reasonably expect out of democracy. Now if you remember, in class ninth we had a discussion in the class and the children argued, they were arguing about that what why democracy is the best form of government, and as when it is compared with other forms of government. And so we got certain merits of democracy, and those were that democracy, it promotes equality among citizens, it enhances the dignity of individual, improves the quality of decision making, it provides a method to deal with conflicts, resolve conflicts, and it allows room to correct the mistakes. Now these are the merits that we say of democracy. Now, are these expectations which we have from democracy, are they really realized, or do we really get them? And when we talk to people around us, now most of the people, they support democracy as compared to the other alternatives that we have, like it could be monarchy or dictatorship or military rule. So people, they support democracy more, and but when it we talk about practice, so many people are dissatisfied with democracy in reality. And so, like, we face a dilemma or a doubt that democracy, it seems to be quite good in principles, all right, but not so good in practice. Now this particular dilemma, it leads us on to think about the outcomes of democracy. And so we also need to ask a questions that, do we prefer democracy just for the moral reasons that people, they are the real reason, and they are the rulers themselves? So do we really just prefer democracy only for moral reasons, or there are really some prudential reasons also, some really positive practical outcomes to support democracy too? Now over 100 countries of the world, they claim that they practice democratic politics, and many countries, they have formal proper constitutions, and they hold elections, they have parties, different political parties, and they also give certain rights to the citizens. Now while these features, all these features, they are common to most of the democracies that we have, but these democracies are very different from each other. Some things we have in common, but still all the democracies, they differ from each other in terms of the social situation in the country, and what they have achieved economically. So the economic achievements, they also differ, and also there's a difference in the different culture of these economies. Now what can be achieved or not achieved in a democracy, now that obviously will be very different, because when the social setup, the economic status of the country, all these things, the diversity of the country, when it is so different, then obviously what we expect from democracies, that also will be different in different democracies. But then obviously there should be like something which we could expect, if irrespite of the differences that we have, still there should be a few things that we can expect from every democracy, just because it is a democracy. So we could expect few things out of a democracy. Now sometimes what happens, we people, they are so fascinated with this concept of democracy, and they think like that democracy now that can bring about a change in all the social, economic, and political problems that the country is facing. And when the expectations that people have from democracy, when they are not met, then people, or we start blaming democracy, that democracy is not able to fulfill all our expectations, or we even start to doubt that are we really living in a democratic world. Now, the first step towards thinking carefully that what should be the outcomes of democracy is to realize and recognize that democracy is just a form of government. And now, being just a form of government, so it can only create condition. It will not achieve everything, it can only create conditions to achieve something. Now the citizens, they have to take advantage of the conditions which democracy provides, and then achieve the desired goals. So now we will examine some of the things that we can expect from democracy, and we will also see that what is the record of democracy on that particular expectation. Okay, so the first one that we have is that accountable, responsive, and legitimate government. That a democratic government should be an accountable government, or responsive government, responsive to the needs of the people, and it also should be a legitimate government. Now, there are certain things that democracy it should provide, and in a democracy, people, they are concerned with that whether the people, they have a right to choose their leaders, and whether the people have certain control over their rulers, like if they don't want them to rule over them anymore, do they have really some power to remove the rulers from over them. And then whenever possible and necessary, citizens, they also should be able to make they should be able to participate in decision making. And because the decisions that the leaders take in a democracy, or the decisions that are taken in a democracy, all the people of the country, they are affected by it. So if we are affected by it, then obviously we should also have a share in decision making. Now, therefore, the most basic outcome that we expect from a democracy is that it should produce a government which is accountable to the citizens, means answerable, accountable to the citizens, and it should be responsive to the needs and expectations of the citizens. Now, before we delve more into this question, now we face another common question, and that is the democratic government really efficient, or and is it effective? Now, some people think that democracy, it produces less effective government, and obviously that is there, that the non-democratic leaders, they don't have to bother about the parliament, and about the discussion and the deliberation in the assemblies or the parliament, and they do not have to worry about that they stay in majority, or they don't have to worry about the opinion of the people. So they can be very quick also, and very efficient in making decisions, and also in implementing them, because they don't have to follow the proper procedure of going through the whole detail of discussion and deliberation with so many people at different stages. And now, but democracy is based on the idea of deliberation, discussion, and negotiation with other people. And so obviously some delay is bound to be there, but does that delay make a democratic government an inefficient government? Now, if we think in terms of cost, now imagine there's a government, and it takes all decisions very quick and fast, and it does not have to worry about the assemblies and about discussion and negotiation with other people. And but then what will happen, because not many people have put in their heads, and it is not on the basis of a proper discussion by the people, and so that decision may not be accepted by the people, and therefore that decision may face problems. And but in contrast, the democratic government, obviously it will take more time, because it has to follow so many procedures before coming to a conclusion, or before arriving at a particular decision. But just because it has followed so many procedures, therefore the decisions may be even acceptable to the people, because so many people have put in their heads, they have deliberated and discussed and negotiated and have seen at all the sides of that particular thing, and so that decision may be both acceptable to the people and may it would be more effective also. And so what we can say is that the cost of time that democracy pays, it perhaps worth it. Okay, now let us look at the other side. Now, democracy, it ensures that decision making, whatever decision they make, it will be on the basis of certain norms or procedures and processes. Now, so if a citizen, he wants to know that whether a decision was taken through a correct procedure or not, so he can find out, and so the particular means people, citizen, they have the right and the means also to examine the process of decision making, and this is what is called as transparency. So what is transparency? That a citizen who wants to know that whether a decision was taken through correct procedures, he can find out, and that is what is transparency. And now this transparency is so often missing from non-democratic government, because obviously they are not concerned, they are not there because of the support of the people, they are not ruling because of the support of the people, so they don't care whether the people support them or not, and they don't even tell how they have come to a certain conclusion or to a certain decision. Therefore, when we are trying to find out the outcomes of democracy, it is right to expect democracy to produce a government that follows procedures and is also accountable or answerable to the people. Now, we can also expect that the democratic government, they have certain mechanisms for citizens to hold government accountable, and we have, for that purpose, we have elections, so that we can hold the governments accountable for what they are doing or for what they have done. Now, if we wanted to measure democracy on the basis of this particular outcome, now we will have to look at the some practices and some institutions. Now these are regular, free and fair elections, open public debate on major policies and legislations, and citizens' rights to information about the government, how the government, what the government is all about and how it is functioning. Now, so this is what we can expect. Now, all these institutions we have to check. Now, there is a mixed performance of democracy on all these things. Now, democracies, they have a good success rate when it comes to setting up regular elections and free elections, and to have conditions where we can have proper debates and discussions. But most of the democracies, they fall short of elections that provide a fair chance to everyone, and subjecting every decision to a public debate. People, though we say we have one vote and same, each vote has equal value, but the information which is available to the people before they really participate in an election, now that is different for different people. And so we cannot say that all of them are getting the same opportunity and the same fair chance. So now in this case, we can have mixed results for democracy. Then democratic governments, they also do not have a good record when it comes to sharing information with the citizens. So though transparency is what we talk about, but on the real front, in practicality, we don't see much transparency. And now all we can say in favor of democratic regimes or democratic governments is that they are much better than non-democratic governments on this particular aspect, on these particular respects. Then in substantial terms, it may be reasonable. Now then, we may also expect from a democracy that okay, in certain things it is not able to give a proper result, but then we can expect from a democracy, from a democratic government, to be attentive, a democratic government to be attentive to the needs and demands of the people, and we can also expect a democratic government to be free of corruption. Now the record of democracy on these two counts also is not very good. It is not very impressive. And democracies, many times, the needs and the desires and expectations of certain group of the society are met, and some groups, they are left behind on this. And so, democracies, they often frustrate the needs of the people, and they ignore the demands of a large majority of their population. And then, there are talks of corruption also, and they also convince us that democracy is also not free of this evil, that it is not a corruptionless government. And so at the same time, when we talk about democracy having corrupt government and not being very accountable to the needs of the people, or not very attentive to the needs of the people, but at the same time we don't have any data to show that non-democratic countries are less corrupt, or they are more sensitive to the needs of the people. Now, there is one respect in which democratic governments, they are really better than the other alternative forms of government, is that a democratic government is a legitimate government. And now that government, it could be slow, it could be less efficient, and not always very responsive, and may not always be clean, but still, a democratic government is it's a people owned government, mean the people, they have chosen the government. And so, that is why there is so much support for for this idea of democracy, or for democracy all over the world, that though it may not be able to fulfill so many expectations, but still it is a legitimate government, it is a people's own government. People they have selected and elected, not selected, they have elected that particular government. And so as we have some evidence from South Asia, some reports which shows that the support exists in countries. Now, this support for democracy, it exists in countries which already have democratic governments, and even from countries which don't have democratic governments, and where people, they do not have democratic governments, they wish to be ruled by their own representatives which are elected by them. And they also believe that democracy is suitable, so all people feel, though even though at present they might not be democratic government, but still they feel that democratic government or democracy is suitable for their countries. And the ability of democracy to get support for itself, now that also is a good outcome that cannot be ignored. Okay, so we come now to the second expectation, economic growth and development. Now, democracies, they are expected to produce good governments. And if if we expect democracy to produce good government, then obviously it is not fair to expect that they would also produce development. Now, if we are expecting one thing, then it will not be very fair that we expect the other thing also, that we also expected to produce development in the country. But evidence shows that in practice, many democracies, they do not fulfill this expectation, means they do not provide much development. Now, if we consider all the democracies and all dictatorships for the 50 years between 1950 to 2000, dictatorships, they have a slightly higher rate of economic growth. And now the inability of democracy to achieve something here, achieve higher results here on this particular economic account, now that really worries the democrats all over the world. But this alone cannot be the reason for us to reject democracy, because as you all must have already studied in economics, that a country's economic development, it depends on many factors. It does not simply depend on the type of government we have, but it also depends on the country's population size, what is the global situation of the country in the world, then what cooperation it is getting from the other countries, and then the economic policies that are accepted by the country. So all that has to be kept in mind. Now, however, economic development, it depends on all these factors, and not only on the type of government that we have. But the difference in the rates of economic development between the less developed countries with dictatorships and democracies is negligible. It is very, very less. And so overall, we cannot say that when if you have a democratic form of government, then you are bound to have economic development, but we can expect democracy not to lag much behind on this particular respect. Now, when we find such a differences in the rates of economic growth between countries under dictatorships and democracy, then it is better to prefer democracy, because the difference is so negligible there. So it is better to prefer democracy as compared to dictatorship, because it has several other positive outcomes. Okay, so now with that we come to the third point: reduction of inequality and poverty. Let's see how democracy does on this particular count. Now, perhaps more than development, what we can expect from a democracy is to reduce the economic disparity or economic difference between the people. And then, because what happens, the poor are very poor, the rich very rich. So we can expect from democracy to reduce this disparity between the rich and the poor. And even when a country it achieves certain economic growth, then wealth, it needs to be distributed in such a manner so that all the citizens of the country, they will have a share in that, and they will lead a better life. And now is so now for a question for us is that, is economic growth in democracies accompanied by increased inequalities among the people, or do the democracies, they lead to a proper, a just distribution of goods and opportunities among all the citizens of the country? Now we know that democracy, they are based on political equality, means equality in politics, like we have all people are allowed to vote, and all the each vote has equal value, and so all individuals, they have equal weightage for electing their representatives. Now, though we are talking about political equality, but we find economic inequality is also so much there, because like parallel to the process of means when we try to bring individuals into the on an equal political arena, and we find, though we are trying to bring about political equality, but at the same time we find that there is a large number or a growing number of economic inequalities among the people. And what that basically means is that some people, there are a little portion of people or little percentage of people, they are very very rich, and then there is a very less wealth is left for the other people to survive on. So what happens, a small number of ultra rich, they enjoy a huge share of wealth and income. And it is not only that they share a huge percentage in of the country's wealth and income, but their share has been increasing over the years. And those who are at the bottom of the society, now they have very little to depend on, and their incomes, like the incomes of the ultra rich, they have been increasing, and the incomes of the poor section of the people, they have been declining, becoming less. And sometimes the poor people, they find it very difficult to even get the basic amenities of life, such as food, clothing, house, education, and health facilities. Now, in actual life, democracy, they do not appear to be very successful in reducing the economic difference or the economic disparity among the people. And in class 9th economic textbook, you have already studied about the poverty in India. And the poor, they constitute a very large proportion of the voters, and no party will try to lose on their votes. Yet the sad thing is that the democratically elected governments, they do not appear to be very keen, very enthusiastic as to address the question of poverty, and to remove the poverty from the country as we would expect them to. And the situation is much worse in some other countries, like in Bangladesh. More than half of its population, they live in poverty, and people in several countries, they are now, means they are not able to provide even enough food supplies for their own people, and so they are dependent on the rich countries even for their food supplies. Okay, so for today we will stop here. Have you understood? Any problem?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So for today
No, ma'am.
we'll stop here.